start with late last year. Governor Gavin Newsom signed an executive order calling on the California Public Utilities Commission to offer recommendations to reduce electric costs for Californians. And he wanted a report from the commission by January 1st. More than a month later, we don't know what's in it. That is because the CPUC says it doesn't have to release it to you. And we've learned a law on the books allows this. Utilities continue requesting rate hikes even as profits for shareholders have soared. Last November, Fox 26 News raised the question, is the commission that's supposed to ensure you have reliable utility service at reasonable rates doing its job? At the time, the California Public Utilities Commission had allowed PG&E to raise rates 4 times in 2024. And by the end of the year, the CPUC had granted 2 more rate hikes, bringing the total to 6 rate increases in 2024, leaving Californians struggling.
Well, I don't know how they expect us to survive paying a utility that's as much or double your rent or your mortgage. It's just who's going to step up and do something about it.
We asked Governor Gavin Newsom about this during a Valley visit.
Do you believe that CPUC is doing enough to ensure that these rate hikes requested by PG&E are justified?
The issue of costs are top of mind, and there are a lot of things on your bill that I don't think should be on your bill.
And a month later, he issued this executive order calling on the CPUC to recommend changes to bring down rates. These include modifying or eliminating underperforming or underutilized programs whose costs exceed the value and benefit to ratepayers, and consulting with other agencies to see whether adjustments could be made to utility wildfire safety practices that could save ratepayers money. That report was due to his office by January 1st. Fox 26 News filed a public records request for copies of correspondence between the governor and the PUC, and another with the PUC asking for a copy of its response to the governor's executive order. We learned it doesn't have to hand over anything, citing that emails between the governor's office and others amount to attorney-client privilege.
The California Public Records Act has an explicit exemption for all correspondence to and from the governor's office, and I personally disagree with it.
Attorney David Loy, legal director at the First Amendment Coalition, says that by the simple act of attaching the report to a response to the governor's office, it's considered correspondence, making it exempt.
Yeah, I think this exemption is problematic for any number of reasons, because, we don't exempt correspondence, for example, to your mayor or to the chair of the county board of supervisors or the chair of the school board.
We also reached out to the governor's office to find out whether it ever even received the recommendations. Initially, the governor's office would only say it's evaluating all information stemming from the governor's October executive order. We pressed back, asking if the recommendations were ever received. It told us yes. I also reached out to the Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press to see whether the governor's exemptions are common across the country. We learned not exactly. Governors in just a handful of other states have such exemptions, including Virginia, Kentucky, New Jersey, and New York. So has it always been this way? One former president of the CPUC says no.
And it leads to a lot of speculation and misinformation when the government won't tell the press basic information about what it's doing.
In about 30 minutes, we'll hear more from Loretta Lynch, including the one circumstance when she says the CPUC had to withhold information from the media and the public.